Hello, everybody, and welcome back to World Geography, Chapter 3, Section 2.7. This right here is my kitty cat, Emma. We don't see her a lot, so since she was sitting here, I decided that I would let you all say hi to her. So, hi, Emma. She's a good girl. So, in today's lesson, we're going to look at kind of a quick overview of the last 120 years of history and really look at the military conflicts that happened. We're going to look at World War I, World War II, the Cold War, and then look a little bit at modern conflict, including terrorism. So, as the United States grew in population and prosperity, so did its economic power. This new strength made it difficult for the country to remain uninvolved in world issues and conflict. Due to growing conflicts between major powers in Europe, war broke out there in 1914. Russia, France, and Britain, called the Allies, fought these Central Powers, which were led by Germany. The United States had economic alliances or partnerships with both France and Britain. Nevertheless, the country stood firm in its neutrality or refusal to take sides and worked to bring about peace in Europe. However, this didn't last forever. When German submarines sank the Lusitania, a ship carrying U.S. passengers, the United States could no longer remain neutral. So in 1917, America joined the Allies and helped them win the war. The terms of the peace treaty that they signed after the war were thought by many Germans to be unfair. So there was a period of prosperity that followed World War I for many countries. However, it should also be noted that because of the peace treaty that many Germans had thought was unfair, Germany did not share in the prosperity of the rest of the world. However, in 1929, the US stock market crashed. This crash set in motion a series of events that led to a worldwide economic downturn called the Great Depression. So many historians say that because of the really harsh penalties put in place in the treaty after World War I, this opened the door for Adolf Hitler to rise to power in 1933. He promised to restore Germany's political and economic strength. He became a dictator or a ruler with complete control, and he planned to conquer all of Europe. So in 1939, Hitler invaded Poland, and this marked the beginning of World War II. Just as in World War I, the United States originally remained neutral. However, on December 7th, 1941, the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, which is a U.S. naval base in Hawaii. The next day, the United States joined Britain, France, and the Soviet Union, who were again called the Allies in this war, against the Axis powers led by Germany, Italy, and Japan. Now, I do want to take a moment to just kind of remind everybody or say that even though I only may list, 6 or 7 countries, there were more countries that joined in on each side. These were just the major powers, the major economic powers on each side of the war. After years of fighting, Germany surrendered in May of 1945, but Japan continued to fight. In August of that year, U.S. planes dropped atomic bombs on Japan. Bombs hit Hiroshima on August 6th and Nagasaki on August 9th. Both cities were completely destroyed, and as many as 140,000 civilians were killed. After these, Japan surrendered on September 2nd of 1945. So overall, World War II had a great human cost. The Holocaust, which was Hitler's organized murder of Jews and other groups, killed an estimated 6 million people. Overall, an estimated 50 million people were killed, primarily in Europe and the Soviet Union. To give you guys an idea of how many people this is, the population of New York City is currently at 8.38 million people, or that was in 2020. So that would be like 5 plus some New York cities is the number of people that were killed overall in World War II. So even though the United States and the Soviet Union had been allies, the two countries had pretty big political differences. Following World War II, they engaged in a Cold War, which is a long period of political tension without any actual fighting. Now, even though the United States and the Soviet Union did not directly attack each other, they did both engage in different wars, including the Korean War and the Vietnam War. backing different sides, and that's kind of how they fought without actually fighting each other. The United States promoted global democracy and freedom, while the Soviet Union promoted communism, in which the state controls all parts of the economy. The Cold War ended in 1991 when the government of the Soviet Union broke apart. So if, as I'm saying, the Soviet Union, you guys don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. We don't actually have a Soviet Union now. The Soviet Union is what used to be Russia and a lot of the a lot of the countries surrounding Russia, like Ukraine, and some of those other ones over there. And that's actually one of the reasons that Russia tries to invade countries like Ukraine to try to rebuild the power of the Soviet Union. So now, at the turn of the 21st century, a new type of warfare became much more common and is continuing to be common today, which is terrorism. So terrorists use violence to achieve political results. And these political results can and are often motivated by different religious reasons. However, ultimately, they are political results that they want to bring about. And again, they use violence to do that. We talked about September 11, 2001, back at the beginning of September, and this is probably one of the most well-known acts of terrorism that has happened recently in the United States. So to review, on September 11th of 2001, terrorists attacked the United States. They hijacked 4 passenger planes and crashed them into civilian and military targets. Remember, it was the 2 towers of the World Trade Center, North and South Towers, the Pentagon, and then the 4th plane crashed into a field in Pennsylvania, possibly heading to the U.S. Capitol, the White House, or Camp David. Overall, they killed over 3,000 people. The United States then invaded Afghanistan, where the terrorist group originated. The campaign to defeat terrorism led to a U.S. operation in 2011 that resulted in the death of Osama bin Laden, who is believed to have planned the September 11th attacks. All right, not gonna lie, guys, this section is very heavy emotionally. It's a lot of like death and war and stuff. So that's the other reason that little baby Emma's here is it's nice that she's here. She's like, I don't know if y'all can see her eyeballs, but she's not too pleased with me right now. It's fine. She loves me, even if she doesn't look like it all the time. Anyway, to wrap up, things to remember from this section. The United States was first neutral in both World War I and World War II, but they did eventually enter both wars because of provocation from one side. World War I was the sinking of the Lusitania, and World War II was the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So the Cold War then followed World War II. It was between the United States and Soviet Union. It didn't have direct fighting between the two countries, but it did have long-lasting conflicts, sometimes with both countries financially and militarily backing other groups who were fighting. And then finally, terrorism is the new type of modern conflict in today's world. All right, guys, thank you guys for listening. Go ahead and check back in Canvas, see what your next job is, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.